Hi.
Welcome back to the success stories. You're going to be sick of my face today. I've got another 4 of these to go after this interview. So if my Stoke accent is doing your head in, I'm sorry, you're going to have to tune out. I am bringing you one too many. I feel like royalty today. I feel like everyone knows you, Lauren, or they should from these success stories. So can you tell everyone, just on the odd chance that somebody hasn't seen you before, who you are, what you do? Let us know.
Yeah, of course. So my name's Lauren and I have multiple businesses. So I have a subscription box called the Business Box. I run a company that sells theatre tickets called Theatre Express. I do lots of coaching around kind of subscription boxes, running multiple businesses, growing your audience. And I also have a Christmas elf company as well.
Just randomly throwing a Christmas elf company
Yeah,
at the
I
end.
always forget about it because I only really have to pick it up around sort of September time. So January to September, I'm like, oh yeah, and elves, yeah, elves.
And elves.
Yeah.
So how long ago was it now that you first did one to many?
Sure, I was trying to remember this the other day, and I think it must have been 2019 because it was certainly pre-COVID.
Right.
So yeah, it must have been 2019 because it was definitely pre-COVID.
And what made you want to do it? So what happened when you first saw it to make you think, okay, I'm gonna need to do that?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it was the fact that I was working 7 days a week. So I had my kids theatre school, which I'd run all week. We'd go into different schools. I had 50 classes running a week. It was really, really busy, and I'd work really hard to build it up. And then at the weekend, I'd go off and I'd do kids' parties. So I'd be dressed up as Elsa, and I'd just, go off and do 4 parties in a weekend. And I was earning good money, but I literally just didn't have a life. And the money I was earning just wasn't worth the energy and the time and the toll that it just was taking in the end. And I knew that I just couldn't do it forever. So obviously when Lisa popped up, and it was completely by chance, I was like, that looks interesting. And then, yeah, the rest is history.
Were you worried about anything? So when you
Yeah.
saw this for the first time, what was coming up for you? What were the concerns?
Yeah, I remember thinking oh my God, I'm about to pay a considerable sum of money to some woman on the internet. I was like, she, could be peddling snake oil, it could be anything. And I remember thinking am I going to really regret this? And obviously I didn't, thank God. But yeah, I remember really thinking I'm putting a lot of trust in here. But I think when I signed up as well, there wasn't the same success stories of people that there is now, because it was, a lot newer. Whereas now I think it would be a lot easier decision to make, because I could be right, well, I'll just dive in.
If it's worked for these people, yeah. If it's worked for these people, then there's a chance of it working for me.
Exactly.
Okay, so you eventually got over the concerns around giving this random woman on the internet some money, and you were invited to the program, into the process. How did you feel once you were inside? Did it suit you? What did you enjoy? What did that feel like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was all new. I feel like I'd got to a point in my business where I'd just I'd done well, but I was just winging it. I was just kind of no strategy, nothing, and just winging it. And actually having that sort of structure and having a process to follow was so well worthwhile doing, because I suddenly had okay, well, this is what I'm aiming towards, and this is how I get there. It was having that roadmap to follow just made such a difference.
Was there anything that you found more difficult in there?
I'm really, really not a tech person. I absolutely hate tech. I can barely work Gmail, Facebook Messenger is about my limit. And then it was, really daunting to think, oh my God, I've got to put this tech stuff together, and I need this, and I don't have a clue where to start. But obviously that was one of the reasons why I did it, because I knew I would never ever ever have got there on my own. There's just no way. So actually it was really worthwhile me doing. And even though I was really oh my God, I hate tech, and I know there's lots of people who are looking at it now oh, but the tech is hideous. It really wasn't that bad. From someone who can barely work anything,
I'm the same.
yeah.
I get it. I can't even open. It's my worst nightmare. The moment somebody says, here's the link to the Google Drive, I know the damn thing isn't going to open. I know that I am going to break the Google Drive before.
Was it you that
Else.
took down Facebook yesterday?
I think so. I've been given too much responsibility in this launch. I think I've taken Facebook down, but I get it. I'm the person that understands that. So I
Yeah.
guess then that was a challenge in your mindset, but the reality was it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things, isn't it? That sometimes you think about something so much, you can like manifest it into something like a huge, 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 huge thing. And it's not as big as you've made it out to be in your
Yeah,
head, if that makes sense.
it does. How long then did it take you to launch something? So you've gone in, you've done the process, or you're learning the process because some people launch halfway through. How long did it take you to launch your first thing in that sort of
Mm.
process that you've shown?
Yeah, so I launched before I'd finished the program, so it must have been only a few weeks in. And
Yeah.
I launched my membership, and it was basically a membership that Lisa told me to start because I was going to go and do something completely different. And I launched my membership, and within sort of 48 hours, I had 350 people join. And I was like,
Insane.
oh, hang on a minute, this works. And they're all paying £10 a month because my membership was like an entry level price. I was like, hang on a minute, there's something here. Like, and I remember texting Lisa the second or third month of running it, and I was like, I've just looked at my Stripe account and I'm in a hot tub on a cruise and I've just made 3.5 grand. And she was like, that's the best message I've ever received. And it was because obviously, like, I was literally just like on a cruise somewhere in the Caribbean, like, sea. And I don't know why I even checked my Stripe account, and I looked in it and there was all this money and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh yeah, amazing.
The membership. Do you want to tell everybody what that membership was? Because I
Yeah.
think people think it's been really like a complicated type idea. Like it's just not that at all.
No. So I was already selling theatre tickets. And so we just added in a VIP option. So people can choose to be a VIP. They get early access to tickets and they get some exclusive shows. They get some free tickets when we've got free tickets available. So it's sorted out when we had like overstock of tickets. And they
Yeah.
got a private Facebook group, and they pay £10 a month for that. And some of the people have been there since 2019 when I launched it, and they have stuck with us throughout 2 years of theatres being closed in the pandemic, of having their shows cancelled left, right, and centre. Like, if I didn't have the membership set up pre-COVID, because obviously none of us saw COVID coming, I wouldn't have had a house. Like, I would have had to have sold my house, because the situation I had during lockdown was that all the theatres were closed, and not only was I having to not make any money, or was I unable to make any money, I was actively giving money back. Like, I was having to give that money back because all the theatres were closed. So the money I'd earned in ticket sales for the previous year, because people obviously booked far in advance, I was handing back. So
Oh, no, it's I think we've just never sat and chatted, like had a chat about that. That's just absolutely mad.
yeah,
So
it's
that
crazy.
membership has made a lot of money. Have you got any figures that you'd be willing or want to share around
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I can tell you the up-to-date today figure, actually.
I
Oh, I
just think
won't.
it's useful for people to know. And obviously, we're talking since 2019, everyone. So this isn't in 5 minutes. Like, we're trying to be
Yeah.
realistic with you over money over time. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just loading. It's going to take its time now, isn't it? 4.26 million to today. You see that? I don't know if you see it.
How you say it so casually? Like, yeah, 4.26 million. 4.26 million today. Lauren, you blow our minds. You blow our absolute minds. And obviously, that's one of the things that you've done with
Mm,
OTM. You've got so many different businesses and different like strings to things. And I guess that's one of the beauties of it, right? You learn a process once and you can apply it to so many different
yeah,
things.
yeah. So when we went into lockdown, obviously, like I said, I was just giving people their money back. It was crackers, absolute crackers. And I was like, I need to do something positive, and I need to do something that's pandemic proof. And that's when I started the business box, which is a subscription box. And I started 2 subscription boxes. One was a kids baking box, one was the
I
business
remember.
box.
I remember
Mm.
it.
And we ended up scaling to like 1,000 subscribers and 2 multi-six-figure businesses within 12 months. And that's because I just rinsed and repeated what I learned in one to many. I built the audience, I sold the box. It was, you know, such a beauty of having the course there and the lifetime access to go back to. I just went back, started from scratch, built a whole new audience, completely fresh audience. I didn't have a business audience at all. And launched the business box.
I'd like to share something. I'm going a little bit off piece here because I just want for other people to see the beauty of getting to know others in Lisa's world, inside these environments, inside these programs. So this is how me and you have come to meet, right? We know Lisa, we're both working, we've both gone through the one-to-many program. So we are now connected and in each other's world. You've got this business box for entrepreneurs. I've got a publishing company. And we were able to then get our authors in my publishing company inside your business box. And that happened purely because we got to meet in these environments. And I think the reason that I'm sharing that is not actually to tell you about the business box or about publishing. It's to tell you the power of the collaborations and the partnerships that can come from meeting inside of these environments. Does that make sense? Because it's been such a beneficial thing, I think, for my authors and for you. It's been an amazing sort of little partnership.
It's a brilliant partnership. And it's, you know, we get to get people's books in the box as they've just come out, as they've just been published. So they're not ones that people have got sat on their shelves and things, you know, they're not the classic, you know, classic ones that you see sold
I get it.
day in, day out. They're new books about brilliant topics by brilliant authors, and we know the quality we're getting. And like you say, we met through doing one to many.
And I think I just wanted to say that because I think sometimes people don't see sort of all of the opportunities that are available to them. It's just like, I'm buying a course. Am I going to enjoy the course? Am I going to get something out of the course? And it's like, when you're the other side of it, and when you've met the people you've met, and when you've created the relationships and the business partnerships and things that you have, you're kind of looking at it going, I wish you could see what we know and what we see.
I know, it's so true. And just also as well, like, not to underestimate the friendships that are made. Like, genuinely, I told, and I won't mention names just in case, but I told 2 people I'd met while doing one to many I was pregnant before I told my partner. Like, you just wouldn't even think of that. And the more you think about it, it's like it was such a small thing, and you're like, oh, it's online, it's not gonna be the same as in real life, so to speak. But actually, we live in a world now where actually everything's online, and like, that's okay. And it's nice to make friends that aren't, you know, your next door neighbor, or, you know, the other mums at school gate, or whatever it is.
I won't speak on behalf of everybody, Lauren, but I'll definitely say for me, if it wasn't for the relationships I got online, I would barely have a relationship with anybody outside my family. And it's because being a mum to 3 and they're so young, I haven't got time between, you know, supporting Lisa's team, running my own company as well. Like, my time is gone, you know, like around my children.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't underestimate that going into one to many, actually. Just the fact that these relationships, meeting other people that are on the same path of you, it's just absolutely invaluable. And it's really kept me going through some non-business things as well. Like, it's not all about just getting through this business journey together. There's absolutely a benefit to getting through some life issues that you're going through together as well. You can't put a price on networks. Absolutely right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So,
it's crazy.
Lauren, then it didn't take you long to start earning money from the moment you went into this process. So a few weeks in, you were able to launch. Do you remember the exact figure on the first launch you ever did? Because obviously somebody could be looking at 4.6 million now and going, that's a little bit like.
So it was monthly recurring revenue, because it's like a monthly membership. And I can tell you exactly, because it's really easy maths, because it's £10 a month. And we had about 350 joins. So it's about £3,500 in that first month. And I remember timesing that by 12 and being like, geez, that's quite a lot of money. Jesus, what? That's a lot of money. And never
and then
looked
it
back.
came
And then
the next month and the next month.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I did another launch. So March the 1st, 2020, I did another launch. So the first one was just like a, you know, let's see if this actually works, if people actually
Yeah.
want it. Like, I was fully expecting to maybe get like, you know, I'd have been overjoyed with 50 people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did another launch on the 1st of March 2020, and I got 625 people in.
I remember it, the launch going on at the time, because I remember Lisa's excitement around it for you. And I remember thinking, oh my God, like when you do the maths on that, you know?
Mad, yeah. And that was on top of obviously the 350 I already had. So now I was going, oh my geez. I actually had to shut it. I was going to leave the doors open for a week. I had to shut it after 24 hours because I was like, I don't want it to get too big because I still want to be able to make it a really good membership.
Yeah.
Yeah, just crazy. And then obviously we've had similar since. So yeah, mad.
It's mad. It's absolutely mad. But it just goes to show that any idea can be massively, massively valuable, both to the people that are taking part in your idea, so everyone that's loving being in your membership, and obviously to you as well. So it's a win-win, which I absolutely love. But I love the fact that that win happens for you every single month, regardless of what you're doing. And you're new mum now, right? So there's loads going on. There's loads going on for you.
Yeah, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. And also, like, just to say that as well, that like I took pretty much all of last year off. Like I worked a little bit here and there. I had a really horrendous birth, and so I was really, really unwell after I had Tabby. And I was really unwell when I was pregnant as well. And like, if I hadn't have had passive income, I'd have had to have literally dragged myself out of bed to go back to work. There's absolutely no question about it. I would have had to have gone back. I'd have been like dressing up as Elsa still while like 8 months
Dealing with
pregnant.
how ill you were. Yeah, I get it. I get it. There was moments, not in the pregnancies with my boys, but with my pregnancy with my daughter, I had just constant sickness. Every time I even stood up, I was being sick. It was just absolutely horrendous, and it was every single day for the entire time I was pregnant. And I remember lying there in my bed with my Lucozade and my biscuit in the hopes that I could just sort of get it in hand. I remember lying there thinking, how do people go to work with this? Like if I wasn't running my own business. I know, but like I didn't know how, because every time I moved, I was sick. So I kind of like couldn't get my head around it. And I didn't have to worry about ringing a boss, and I didn't have to have that extra pressure on me, as well as the pressure of just feeling so ill. And I remember just sitting in bed crying one morning, and it wasn't crying with the tears of being sick, although with the emetophobia, I can tell you, like I did feel like crying with it. But it was the joy of, thank God I did this.
Yeah.
So I get it completely. Lauren, what's next for you? I've kept you on a while now. It's just always lovely to talk.
What's next? I'm going to relaunch my courses later in the year. So I'm looking forward to that, helping more people start subscription boxes, helping more people to grow their audience. I've got a project coming up with Lisa in the summer, which is really exciting. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I won't say too much. And just work a bit less than I did before, and spend lots of time with Tabby, and go and do things like just casually go to Legoland for the day, or phone a friend and go, let's go to lunch, because I can. And it's nice to be able to appreciate that, I think. And actually doing this launch every year and sort of sitting as a bird's eye, almost with a bird's eye view of things, that's what makes you appreciate it all the more, I think.
It really does. I get that feeling as well. Lauren, thank you so, so much for joining me on here. It's so appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I will see you. My next one is at 2:00. So thank you, Lauren. And I will see you all at 2:00.